Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV. I've got headphones on today because there's builders outside who are doing some pebble dashing or taking some stuff off the wall. Either way, it sounds like there's 1,000 rats running down the wall at any one moment. So I've got these on for a bit of noise cancellation. So that's why I'm wearing headphones today. I'm not just going to whip out the decks. You could have heard that word very differently. And play some music. Maybe later. But look, good morning, everyone. It is Friday. We'll run through the Sociedad game. We'll speak about Dalot, funnily enough. We'll speak about United's lack of chance creation, how frustrated Amorim was. You know, that 1-1 draw away at Sociedad, not a bad result. But given how the game went, you're kind of left frustrated. I'll run through all of Amorim's post-match comments on, as I said, Dalot, Hojlund, chance creation, Zirkzee, Arsenal. We'll speak about Dalot. We'll speak about Hojlund. We'll speak about everything through the game. And you can let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, it's Friday vibes. So get the headphones on. Fun fact. I DJ in my, it's one of my favourite hobbies, man. I love DJing. Shax, good morning to you. Gifted 5 memberships, you legend. And good morning to you, Volpez, for joining as a member. Who's here from the mods and the member gangs? Say hello to everyone. Let's get into the show. As always, please do get involved in the comments. I'll try and answer as many of your comments as I possibly can. Stephanie, good morning to you. Carl, good morning to you. We've got Graphic, we've got Lyle, we've got Shax, Jonas, Toby, Rex, we've got Jason, Ryan, C7, M4C, C Billington, lots of Reds. Angela, you're there as well. Great name. It's my mum's name. Let's get into the show. All right. Before I talk through the Sociedad game and all the talking points from that, something that you may have missed yesterday, which is just the continuation of everything that's happening at our football club. Kind of sounds like they stopped. Maybe I'll leave them off for the time being. If I need to, I'll put them back on because it's nicer doing it with those off. Because it's really weird when you've got noise cancelling headphones on. It kind of sounds like you're underwater when you're speaking. Anyway, this happened yesterday, and you may not have seen this. More cuts. I say more cuts. More departures at Manchester United when it comes to the leadership team. Now, look, you've got Annie Hale, who's the head of HR, so sod knows who's going to tell anybody they've lost their job now. Commercial director Florence Lefay and business development chief James Holroyd. I don't really know who these people are. We've never really had conversations about them. I'm not going to say that they're huge losses and departures, but it's just more departures at United. And something that hasn't been announced yet, but because I've connected with him on LinkedIn. Oh dear, one sec. Let me show you this one, which hasn't actually been announced yet. And this one's quite interesting because by the looks of it, this isn't really an exit by the club's choice. This looks like an exit of his choice. Nick Speakman was, by the sounds of it, the global head of social media at United. It's quite a big role. And if you look at how United's, obviously I'm more involved in this, I see more of it, but United's output in the media sense has actually improved in the last year. But it's sad that if you go down here saying, look, with every journey comes a new chapter, keeping this next move under wraps for some time has been a task in itself. So it just sounds like Nick has decided to sort of move on. So that's quite an interesting one. I don't think you'll get any sort of announcement on that, but changes afoot everywhere at United. And that's another 3 departures from the leadership team, which means, as Adam Crafton's writing there, the only original member of the executive leadership team is now Colette Roche. Just sweeping change. Just thought I'd tell you that. Keep you up to date with it. Right, let's speak through it. That game against Sociedad, I apologise that I got my prediction bang on. I don't know how many times I've done that this season now. It feels like I've got it more this season than I have in any other season. I've got like 4 or 5 results absolutely bob on. I think the thing that's really frustrating for me, I'll just explain my position and I'll read some of your comments. The thing that's really frustrating for me was I actually thought United controlled that game of football largely. Were we good enough? No. Were we fast enough? No. Did we actually have what felt like an element of control? I genuinely think we did. Now, part and parcel of that is Sociedad not being good enough. That's why they're mid-table, sure. But it felt like United weren't panicking, weren't chasing anything in the game, and we were just sort of biding our time, if you want to call it that. And we had opportunities. And I think that the way that Joshua Zirkzee described it after the game was pretty much spot on. In the end, you can say 1-1's fine, and they've got to come to Old Trafford. But I think in the end, it's a bit of a disappointment. That's what it felt at full time. Going into that, I'm still pissed at that penalty decision, by the way. I don't care if it was a handball. I'll speak about it a little bit later. It really felt like a disappointment because United could have and should have scored in that first half. Now, speaking after the game, Amorim was saying, yeah, it could have been better. Yeah, it could have been worse, sure. Last 20 minutes, I felt that the team was really tired, but up until the penalty, the team was in control of the game. We took the game. We will take the game to Old Trafford and we'll try to win there. But I'm not sure if you watched Amorim's post-match reaction. You know, the immediate one before he sits down with the press conference. The ones he does with the like TNT Sports, stuff like that. Within like 30 seconds, he mentioned the pressure of playing at Old Trafford. I really feel like that is something that Amorim is probably struggling with the most with this team. Because typically, if you're looking at a Manchester United team and we're in a European time, we're playing away from home first, and we come away from the away game with a draw, you'd look at that and go, yeah, sweet, fine. We'll go back to Old Trafford, we'll do the job there. And you'd actually have an element of confidence about it. But instead, the way that you're feeling going into this game at Old Trafford now, you're kind of more nervous because they're going to be playing at Old Trafford, which is a really bad indictment on the team. But it's very much the truth. Now I'm going to go down and read some of your comments, see what you're saying. Stephen saying the penalty changed momentum of the game. It completely did, but that's kind of peak United, isn't it? In a game, adversity strikes, boom, it's like it cuts your legs off. Also, that team looked really tired yesterday. We had no attacking options on that bench at all. Buster saying the fact a decision can affect our results to this extent is atrocious, and that's something I could completely agree with. It's mad how emotionally unstable Manchester United are, that one decision in a game can just cause a complete ruckus. Can just cause everything that you've worked on, everything you were doing in the game, to completely shift direction. It's definitely one of the biggest flaws. You spend all day arguing this. Oh, no, this is the biggest problem. Ah, well, that's a bigger problem. Then, actually, this is the biggest problem. There's so many different problems. Akash saying, Sam, how is it acceptable for Ruben to allow Garnacho to play like this? I'll speak about Garnacho in a little bit, but I'd like to ask you, who else are you playing then? Oh, Amorim's got to drop Hojlund. All right, who else are you playing? Come on then. Stephen, down there, with a happy comment. Look at that. Very nice. Considering the injuries we had, we have to be happy. I think that's the thing I'm frustrated about is, had United come away with just a 1-0 win there, the conversation after this game would be quite different. It'd be like, well, there was an element of control there. You saw the fact that the team actually knew what they were doing. They weren't panicking too much when the press was coming out. Actually, a couple of times they played through the press quite a lot. Well, quite well, not quite a lot. But the conversation changes because we got a draw. Now, we need to speak about our wastefulness, right? And I thought this comment there was quite important from Ruben Amorim. He's basically saying, look, you can look at the XG and it doesn't really matter that much because the problem that we've got right now isn't really that we're not taking our chances. It's the fact that we're not creating them. It's the fact that we're getting into situations where a chance can be created and that final ball's not happening. Of course, things do change because... I'm going to have to put these bad boys on. It's getting loud up in here. One thing that does change that's frustrating is probably then when we start creating chances, We're then not going to take them because Hojlund's bang out of form. Let me see what you're saying down there. If there wasn't a penalty, the same fans would be whooping it up. I don't know what you're talking about there. I think there were genuine positives to take from that game. We're only going to get little tiny steps between now and the end of the season. We're not going to get an Amorim team. We're in survival mode. He said it a few times. It's obvious we're in survival mode. So in that sense, you will take little positives where you can see them because it's only going to be sprinklings. Mike's saying, look, we need to be more aware of what we are. We're a team that's in the bottom half of the league and came away with a point in Europe. It was a decent result. It was a decent result. But look, Amorim speaking about Hojlund. Hojlund yesterday, did he have a chance? I can't actually remember him having a shot. I really can't. But the conversation yesterday isn't about Hojlund, is it? The conversation is about... The conversation will be about Dalot, but it's not really about Dalot. The conversation is about what this represents and this embodies, because what that was a perfect move, was like a textbook move from Amorim. The centre-backs, the wide centre-backs pushing forward, the wing-backs staying high and wide, the ball going over the top, the ball going through, the wing-back being clear, the striker in the middle, running through. It is a textbook Ruben Amorim attacking transitional move that he did at Sporting so often. It's why Gyökeres has got so many goals. But Diogo Dalot, right, what's your thoughts and reaction on this? Because it's obviously the biggest talking point. And it's not this in isolation. As I said, it's not just about Dalot. It's about players who fit the Amorim system naturally, subconsciously, without thinking. And that's not what Dalot is. Ben Bay saying, enjoyed your sporting video, gives us hope. Cheers, dude. I'm glad that right now, you know how difficult it is. You're a United fan. You know how disconnected you are. It's really difficult to be able to do content that I think is worthwhile and that United fans would enjoy. So I'm really thinking about what that could be. And I thought it wasn't a video just to give you false hope. It was a video to go, well, what did Amorim do at Sporting in his first summer? I think it's a genuine question. And that's what that video was there to answer. Let me go and read a couple of your comments out. Jordan and Volpes, thank you for gifting a membership each. Rossitron and Matthew, the lovely receivers. That Dalot had a chance as well. Yeah, that could have easily been a goal. It was a tough one there. Sean, he's saying, I'd like to see Camerson at right wing back. It was an easy goal, someone said down there. Mr. Moon, I think it's a fair comment, saying the conversation is about the fact that we are still not a team. And like this comment here, right, from Paul Scholes, talking about how for Dalot to not see that run is criminal. Like, ladies and gents, there is absolutely no way in hell that Dalot didn't see that run. He knew Hojlund was there. And I would personally argue that's a bigger problem. He knew Hojlund was there. He chose at that point in time that squaring it to Hojlund wasn't the best decision. And that, for me, more than anything, showed a lack of confidence from Dalot in his striker. He knew he was there, man. Like, you can't... Like, you can have a... There's no way that Dalot is so focused on looking forward that at no point goes... He knows he's there. He absolutely knows he's there, but he chose not to pass it to him. And we all saw Hojlund's reaction. Hojlund was pissed. As he should be. That right there was a perfect goal-scoring situation. And this is... what I'm like, Dalot, I look at Dalot and I see a real opportunity for United this summer to do something that we previously haven't really done. Okay? Dalot doesn't fit this system. Okay? Dalot doesn't fit what Amorim needs in his wing-backs. It doesn't make Dalot a terrible player. If anything, if I'm looking at players that could be sold this summer, I'm looking at Dalot and thinking he's actually probably got pretty damn decent value. I think we spoke about it before. How old is Dalot? 26? Dalot transfer marked. How long's left on his contract? 25. So transfer marked have got his value down at 40 mil. I genuinely think this summer, this is a perfect opportunity for Man United to be able to move Dalot on, who's 25. He's going to go on and have, maybe AC Milan will want to sign him, obviously where he spent some time on loan. Don't know where. I think Serie A would probably be good for him. Easily, United can get somewhere in the region of 30 mil for Dalot. And if we can sign Kenda for somewhere in the region of 40 to 45, it's a very minimal outlay for a massive upgrade in that one position. Previously, United would just hold on to Dalot. Previously, United would just keep him at the club and say, you know what, it might work out. We'll do that. We'll keep him at the club. Like Anthony, you're saying 40 million, get rid now. I'll drive him to the airport. Michael, you're saying 30 mil is ambitious. I really don't think it is. Maybe my head's in, I don't know, head's in the clouds. I think United, not easily, but United, I'm convinced that we could get 30 million for Dalot. And it's probably actually, when I'm thinking about players that I would move on, I think he's probably quite high up the list because there's no point including Rashford or Anthony or Sancho. I suppose there is actually, but I kind of considered them already. The fact that we've loaned them out shows what you think. Now I'm going to go down here and read some of your comments. Graphic saying, let's be honest, Dalot has never passed a Hojlund. I can't remember how many times he has or hasn't passed a Hojlund. Lee, you're saying Dalot has to go. For him not to pass was criminal. For him not to pass, as I said there, that was a choice from Dalot. There's no way that he didn't see the ball. He chose not to give it to the striker who's in the box doing a lung-busting run. And that is just inexcusable for exactly what Amorim's trying to build. Richard is saying, Sam, there are clubs in Italy who would pay that. I genuinely feel that Dalot for 30 to 40 million feels like a very obvious sale to do this summer. Because you know how United have got so many players that we'd love to get rid of, like over the last few years, Shaw and Casemiro and Rashford and Anthony and all these players who are like, on huge wages. And you just can't do anything with them. Dalot, while I don't think he suits the system at all, and I think he does have flaws, like from an availability perspective, it's one of his best assets. From an athletic perspective, he's actually a pretty damn decent athlete and a very good professional. Just from a technical perspective, in terms of what we need our wing-backs to be now, doesn't suit it. But he will suit other teams. That, for me, feels like a really obvious opportunity for United to make some money on a player, rather than just holding onto a player until he doesn't have value anymore, which is exactly what we've done. Connor, I think you're down there. That's, I think, it's a fair comment, saying Dalot's a good right back. He's just not a good right wing back. Someone will happily sign Dalot and will get good money. Ryan is saying you can't claim to have lack of confidence in your striker if you're not trying to create chances for them. And that's why I felt sorry for Hojlund yesterday. And I think it's why. Because, like, if you think about it, man, like, hold on here. We've got a striker who hasn't scored in 20 games. Should be getting hammered. Now, I think Hojlund is being partly not forgiven by United fans. There's a wrong way to describe it. But I think United fans have been a little bit kinder towards Hojlund, kind of because of what we saw yesterday. Because we know all season long, we've simply not been creating enough chances for Hojlund. And honestly, and I'm not just doing this because I want to protect Hojlund or anything, I'm more frustrated with Garnacho right now when it comes to scoring goals than I am frustrated with Hojlund, which it might be, I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me that in the comments, but I've said this quite a few times. And again, it happened yesterday. Like, we can be annoyed with Hojlund, and we are. Of course you are. He's not scored in 20 games. Hojlund hardly really gets chances. Every single game, Garnacho, he puts himself into a position at least twice, 2 or 3 times every game. Garnacho's in a very strong goal-scoring position. And the shots, the conversion rate of Garnacho is just, man, if he could finish, Garnacho is scoring every game, every single game. But Garnacho's creating a lot of chances himself. Because that's kind of what you do. As an inside forward, you have the ability to receive the ball, kind of run into spaces. As a striker in this system, as Rasmus Hojlund, you're kind of heavily dependent on a lot of the football happening around you for a chance to be made. Of course, strikers can make their own chances too, and we spoke about Chido turning half chances into chances. But Garnacho is, like right now, it happened again yesterday, and you saw how pissed off he was when he went off. Amorim speaking about it after the game, saying, I felt he was tired. You could see it because he did a lot of transitions in the second half, but he was late in tracking back. I felt he was tired to recover and do the same thing, so he pulled him off. And he was pissed. I don't know how you can be pissed. I don't know how there is not one United player that could possibly have any justification for being pissed off if they get subbed right now. None. And yeah, as I said, when it comes to chance finishing, I'm personally more frustrated with Garnacho right now than I am with Hojlund. What do you think? I'll ask you in the comments, right? What do you think it is with Garnacho's finishing? It seems like he snaps at chances too much. Like he's so, like, maybe he's like over keen to get the shot away that he doesn't think it. I don't quite know what it is, but like a couple of times yesterday when he fired it into the side netting was just a very strange, like, I suppose it's maybe decision making with his finishing. What is it, do you think, with Garnacho? Because you're looking at Hojlund and it's kind of hard to see where his goals are coming from. You're looking at Garnacho, and he will get 1 or 2 chances to score against Arsenal. It's a given. It's absolutely a given. Garnacho will have goal-scoring opportunities against Arsenal. I don't have to predict it. It happens every game. But he's just not scoring. He was pretty good last season, says SAS. I think it's confidence. Well, same thing as Rasmus Hojlund, scored 16 last year. Well, he had his purple patches. He had some bad moments as well. James saying, if Hojlund had as many chances as Garnacho has had this season, he would have scored at least a third of them. I agree. Hojlund's conversion rate compared to Garnacho, significantly higher. Let's see what he's saying down here. Garnacho's a problem. He thinks he's better than he is. I do think that's slightly I wouldn't say that's part of the finishing problem, but I do think that Garnacho does have an overinflated sense of self-importance in terms of how good he is at this stage in his career. I think that's probably slightly fair. Too eager to prove himself. Shooting technique is wrong. He had a couple of half chances, not clear-cut. He's had far more clear-cut chances than he did in that game. I'll agree on that. But I do think he could have made more with the chances that he had. It's going down there. Garnacho will not be here next season. I think it was after what game was it? Was it Fulham in the Cup where he went down the tunnel? No, it was Ipswich. Ipswich where he went down the tunnel and didn't come back out. I think Garnacho could be the big sale this summer. If I was to, I'm not predicting it, but I think I've said this a few times. I'm not really seeing much that's going to sway my opinion. I don't know how much Napoli would come back in with. What was it, 40-odd million that they offered? I don't think United would accept that. What, the Bruno chance, that was... and this is the thing, like, Garnacho yesterday, we talk about the lack of finishing, and that was frustrating. But it was Garnacho's pass that found Zirkzee. When Garnacho got his head up, and just a simple cut back to the edge of the box, Zirkzee was there. They are the exact goals that Zirkzee was going to score. They are the exact goals that I said he would score. But we don't put enough of those balls in to those areas to create those chances. And that's what, like, Garnacho, I think a problem with Garnacho, and we've known this for a long time, is Garnacho is a head down player. If I was to focus on the things that I think that he improved on after being dropped from the City game, it would be that Garnacho had his head up. He was looking for teammates, and that's how he found that pass. It was a very simple pass because he looked up and he saw the opportunity. Because it's a very simple stroked 10-yard pass on the ground. Don't have to go through any bodies, just right there, give it to Zirkzee, boom, goal. And Zirkzee, right, let's have a little conversation about him. I'm quite enjoying watching Zirkzee in these last few games. I didn't think he was going to have the fitness to start that game, but he did. And he scored. He looked knackered again at the end. Absolutely knackered at the end. And you're angry at Amorim for not keeping Rude. I mean, come on, man. If you no. Rude, I know you've been interim manager. Do you fancy just becoming an attacking coach? Yeah? That's not going to make... Yeah, cool. In you come, man. No. What else are you saying down here in the comments? Garnacho will learn, says Ravi. He's only 20. I think he will learn humility. Right now, he's thinking more from his side. Yeah, I think he is. Unfortunately, and that's kind of counterproductive for the team that Amorim is trying to build. But Zirkzee, okay? Zirkzee had a rough time at the start. Hooked against Newcastle. Booed by Old Trafford. Arseholes who booed him, man. And recovered. That penalty against Arsenal and some of the performances he's had since. Zirkzee, when it comes to the inside forwards for the Amorim system, they have to do a lot of pressing, a lot of running and a lot of movement. And I don't think Zirkzee will ever suit that. But Zirkzee is such a good enabler. I think there's a comment there, Mr. Moon, I completely agree with you. If you get the right players around Zirkzee, as a number 10 at United, you're basically going to have to cover the deficiencies of his game. He's not an extreme athlete. He doesn't have that quick burst of pace over 5 to 10 yards. So you know that mobility-wise, there's going to be a couple of restrictions when you play Zirkzee there. However, he is extremely good with the ball at his feet. He's very good at enabling others and bringing others into play, holding the ball up, linking the midfield to the attack. There are certain things that he does very well. Dominique is saying he doesn't suit the number 10. I think that's exactly where he suits, because I would not play him up front. If you're playing Zirkzee up front, just accept the fact that you've got a false 9. Accept the fact that if you ever got into a situation, if you're playing Zirkzee up front, you're not going to get Zirkzee making this run. Dalot is going to be looking into an empty box going, where the hell is my striker? Because it wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. So that's why I don't want Zirkzee to ever really play as a centre forward. Him as a number 10 is definitely the best place for him. Ziraj saying he did press well. Well, I'll be totally honest. Like, if you look at United's press, we're so far off that. The press is going to be like, not the cherry on top of the Amorim system, but we are so far off that press working properly. Because for the press to work properly, it's exactly why it never worked with Ten Hag. The wing-backs have to really support that. And for the wing-backs to support that, the 3 centre-backs have to really step up. That's why you're starting to see De Ligt really becoming more aggressive. And like Yoro yesterday, I'm not sure if you saw it as well, felt like there was more than one occasion where Yoro brought the ball forward, actually carried the ball. You know what I think? I feel like I'm kind of obsessed with ball carriers because we just don't have them. But he just brought the ball 10, 15 yards forward, and then everybody was just facing him, going, okay, give me the ball then. Nobody was in a position to receive the ball and keep the momentum going forward. It was like Yoro run 10, 15 yards forward, pass to a teammate who then passes it backwards again. But De Ligt, again, how did he manage to adjust his body? Was it like the 86th, 87th minute? He slipped and then just stuck out a left leg and got bing. That was a cracker. That was a cracking little flick from De Ligt. I've been quietly enjoying De Ligt. You can't really praise any United player too much right now, simply because we're crap, ladies and gents, and we're also 14th in the league. So I'm not saying he's having an absolutely barnstorming season, but I think De Ligt has quietly been getting on with what he needed to get on with, and for 90 minutes every game. And I tell you what, I think he's doing well. Obviously, he's going to make a mistake against Arsenal now at the weekend because I've mentioned it. Well done, Sam. You idiot. Sam, if you go by the video you made on Amorim, Garnacho and Dalot won't be here next season. As that video showed, Amorim was not afraid to move players on who had been established players prior to his arrival. Even seasoned ones. And that's why Rashford's out on loan. Anthony's just different. It just didn't fit. I don't care if he... And he's got another assist for Real Betis. Oh, his agent said that physicality is not the problem. Like, shut up, man. Have some self-awareness. I've watched you for a long time. Watched you for a whole season. Be distinctly average. Don't now pretend that, actually, I was never the problem. Yeah, all right, mate, cool. Agents will do agents talk. Sam, curse the next game. Sorry about that. Woohoo. The defenders are generally good, but just let down at times by a crap keep behind them. I thought Onana had a pretty decent game yesterday. Apart from his ball distribution, which was whiffy, to be polite. I don't get it. How has Onana lost any ability to play a decent, the passes I always enjoy from goalkeepers? My favourite pass from a goalkeeper is like a 40-yard, flat goal kick. You know how you can get lofted goal kick? You just boot it as high as possible, and then someone goes. But one of those, pingers that only goes, 20 yards in the air, stays on camera, and just goes, just like an arrow, whoop, straight to a player. My favourite types of kicks from a goalkeeper, sorry. I mean, I suppose boot out a player. It's just, it's so strange. Saves, save at the end, very good save. Commanding, came out and collected quite a few times. But his distribution is just not there, man. It's really, really not there from a distribution perspective. But actually, I thought he played quite well yesterday. So in terms of digging out Onana, I don't think yesterday was a game to do that. Volpe saying, with us giving Wheatley a new deal, would you recall him while we're short up top? There was a Walsall fan who jumped into the chat yesterday. He's saying, yeah, he's not been having the best loan. I think he's actually been left out of a few Walsall squads as well. So I don't quite know what's going on there. But no, if you're looking at giving a young striker an opportunity, you're giving that to Chido, aren't you? And look, I know it probably won't happen, but I swear to God, I don't think he'll start against Arsenal. But looking at these players, they need some rest, man. So I'll speak about Arsenal in a bit, but if Chido scores against Arsenal, oh my God, I'm going to have the time of my life. Well, as far as this season goes, anyway. Christos saying, how awesome would it be if Obi scores on Sunday? I didn't even see that comment, I swear. Sean saying, I've been pleasantly surprised by Zirkzee since Newcastle, and I think that's what I'm praising Zirkzee for. I think his reaction to the adversity that he had, he's now come back through it, and he's now a stronger individual as a consequence. He goes, now at any point where adversity strikes in his life, he'll be able to go back in his mind, go back to that time after Newcastle and goes, right, this is how I dealt with it then. I know what to do now. This might sound like a strange thing for me to bring up at this point, but I'm going to anyway. Remember when I was going through a divorce and I was out in Africa, I went to Ghana for 3 months. There was a day where I let myself sort of get upset about it and think about it, look through photos and stuff like that. And any time after that day where I felt myself thinking, I always referred to and said, no, Sam, you've done that. You've had that day. You've already done that. Move on. And it was because I had that day to refer back to, it always stopped me in the future. Zirkzee will remember that feeling he had and being subbed against Newcastle and will always now refer back to it. And it's making him a stronger. That's what it is like. That's how people get stronger mentally. They have experiences and they learn from it. And then when they're in a situation that's similar again in the future, they can go back to it and they can use that as a reference point. Yeah. I think he's doing well. Look, an overall thing from that game last night. Let's bring this up. That's the wrong thing. Too many tabs, many tabs. We need less tabs in here. There we go. Overall from that game last night is I'm frustrated for the fact that United didn't win. Which just say that, right? How many times have we actually been able to say that as a United fan? Coming out from a game going, I'm frustrated we didn't win. Normally it's, my God, we're crap. This is awful. Couldn't get any worse. Oh my God, end it now. So in that sense, it's a slight bit of progress. And as much as I predicted it was going to be a 1-1, it wasn't really what I was expecting, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, look, if there's 4 of you who aren't subscribed right now, subscribe, because then we'll hit 489,000 together. We're 11k off 500k. That road to, I'm hoping to start that road to 500k from around about 490. And that's for start doing the giveaways and stuff like that. Raffles, giveaways, lots of stuff. Sasfath with the $1 million question there saying, what's wrong with United? I mean, how long's a piece of string, dude? There isn't one individual problem. There isn't one thing you go, well, if you fix this, this will fix all of that. It's the puzzle of United's problems. But look, I suppose there's not too much point dwelling on that game. Look, we're 37 minutes into the live show here. You know what's... And I said this in my match reaction yesterday, right? Arsenal on Sunday. Manchester United playing Arsenal in the Premier League at Old Trafford. This should be a massive game. I don't even care. I don't care about this whatsoever. Like, I'd rather this game didn't exist. I would rather we rest players for this game and focus on Sociedad. Oh, look at that. Akash gifting 10 memberships and Pyro gifting 5. Legends of both of you. Let's get the gong out. It's Friday. Little cheeky one. A little cheeky one. Just like a little cheeky pint that I'm going to have tomorrow. Delicious. It looks like it's going to be 15. Ladies and gents, see, it's shorts weather tomorrow, right? We're England. As soon as it gets 15 degrees and there's a bit of sunshine, it's shorts. And you regret it as soon as the sun goes away. But this game here, right? Amorim, I think, spoke about it well after the game. So, look, we've got to be really smart in the game against Arsenal. We have to check the players, feed the players well. They've got to sleep, recover. It's an important moment in our season. We have to survive Sunday and be ready for Thursday. That's all that this game on Sunday is. This game is an inconvenience on Sunday. That's what I call it. And it's an inconvenience for both teams as well. Arsenal don't care about this game. Their season in the league has gone to crap because they are a crap football team. They are... How any Arsenal fan has the audacity to call any Spurs fan or team bottlers is incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is a team that has never won the Champions League. A team that hasn't won the league since 2004-3. And a team that has bottled their opportunities massively. And they're going into this game thinking that as well. And of course, they got the Champions League. That was a very impressive win against PSV. So I'm sure they're going to have a bit of confidence. I don't care about this game. Do not care. The only thing I care about is not getting any injuries and having players as rested as possible. Superstar saying that it would be good to rest someone like Bruno. That won't happen. We can't do it with Bruno. There is no one else. Like, Bruno didn't have a good game against Sociedad at all. But we can't take Bruno out. And you're talking about building confidence. Yeah, sure. You can build confidence. If you want to take some reason as to why this game might have some sort of significance, sure, you can do that. We'll talk about confidence, winning, breeds, blah, 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 blah. The basics, right? The absolute basics, the fundamentals. In reality, it doesn't matter. This game doesn't matter. If we lose 6-0, then it probably does matter. But the result of this, we win 1-0, we lose 1-0, we draw 2-2. Who cares? I'll name this podcast later. You still haven't named your podcast, but you have gifted 5 memberships. Take it easy, dude. Thank you very much for that. How pissed would you be as an Arsenal fan? City go to pieces, but you yeah. Arsenal fans, like, they must have... Well, I saw troops calling Arteta out ages ago, so... Yeah, SAS Ways, you're saying, is Bruno suspended for the next leg of the Europa League? I said that on Twitter. And the reason I said it on Twitter because I read it on the Manchester Evening News. I might be wrong. I mean, that's what you get for believing something that you read in the Manchester Evening News. Lesson learned, ladies and gents. But what's your prediction for the game on Sunday? Let's just get them in nice and early. In fact, before you answer that, if you were going to rest anybody for that game, so they've got more energy for Sociedad, who are you going to rest? I think I'm probably resting Zirkzee. So I think he's been a bit of a difference. Like, in these last couple of games, he's definitely been a bit of a difference. If Dalot isn't going to be fit enough, then I would rest Dalot. I don't know about Maguire and how fit he is. Don't really think you can rest Bruno. We just don't have any alternatives. Garnacho, I mean, maybe. But we're not going to have anybody back in the squad, are we, for the game on Sunday? I don't think there's going to be any changes from injuries. You might get some youngsters going through. You might get Scanlon on the bench, but Amorim decided not to take them away to Sociedad, so I'm not sure why he would leave them on the bench at home against Arsenal. Maybe it's different in the Premier League. I don't quite know. 2-1 Arsenal, says Sonny. 3-2 says Rapid. 2-2. 1-1, a 93rd minute winner for Obi. Ooh, what I give for that. Is Ugarte back? That's a fair one. Ugarte and Maguire, I think, were both precautionarily rested. I think that's the right way to describe it. So you might get Ugarte back. I'm not quite sure. Mazraoui maybe to be rested. Yoro. I think Yoro quietly has been progressively getting better and more confident in games. The fact that he was carrying that ball forward against Sociedad is something that he just wasn't doing in the first few games. In the first few games with Yoro, it was receive the ball, pass it sideways, pass it backwards. Yoro's getting a little bit more, okay, right, I'm in the team now. Now I can carry it forward. You can really see the talent in Yoro that it isn't quite through yet, but it's going to come. The more confident he gets. I don't think Kobe's back. I don't think Kobe's back until after the March international break. Dorgu, of course, is suspended. Who plays at left wing back? Predictions down there as well. Who plays at left wing back? Are you going Mazraoui left wing back? Dalot right wing back? I mean, it's probably the most likely, but I don't like it. A, Mazraoui's better as a wide centre back, and B, he's not a wing back. So both of those are crap. I think Harry and Mass, yeah, if he was going to get an opportunity, he probably would have already. Aiden Heaven, he made his debut against Fulham. He could come in as a left-sided centre-back. We'll find out. Luke saying we're sleeping on Maguire. Well, no, I've done a video on Maguire praising how his mental resilience is a real example to other players in that squad of what you can come through adversity-wise at United and actually improve on. We'll find. Dalot will play... Look, this game against Arsenal should be... It's sad, really. If I'm being totally honest, this game... I don't know, I'm going to sound like old man moaning. I've never enjoyed Premier League football more... Hey, fair enough, I was a kid as well. More than that period between... Was it 97 to 2004? That period where it was Arsenal and United going toe-to-toe as the two best teams and just almost man for man, had incredible squads, incredible managers, and the rivalry every year was just like to and fro. That's what Arsenal United used to be. And this is just a damp squib of a game. An absolute damp squib. The fact that I'm thinking that probably means that the players are going to be thinking it as well. There's going to be a slight mindset that they have to not be in. Volpes saying Kenda's got to be the first signing this summer. Whoa, this summer's going to be a big one. And by the way, can I just quickly say this? The video that I did on Amorim's first summer at Sporting, when I said that he moved on 25 players, that is not a suggestion that I now think United are going to be able to shift 25 players. I think it was 8 left permanently, 14 left on loan, and I don't know what the other 3. The other 3 were like free transfers. They left. I don't know. How many conceivably do you think could leave United? Let's have a quick look here. Man United player contracts. So we've got... You've got 4 players there who are going to be leaving anyway. How many players do you think United will move on this summer, right? If it was 25 in the first summer for Sporting, how many do you think at United is reasonable? You got those 4. Let's do a little quick count. Let's go on United. Go away. Banners. Players. Right? So if it's those 4 there, and then count who else here. I think Bayindir could be moved on, but we need to bring someone in. I reckon that could happen. So 5. Staying. You're staying. 6, he's leaving. 7, I hope so. 8, I hope so. Already got Johnny Evans there. I mean, I'd like to, but I don't think we can. 9, 10. Dan Gore will probably leave. 11. Rashford, 12. Anthony, 13. Jadon Sancho, 14. Garnacho, potentially 15. All right, so I've counted 15 there. 15. Yeah, good luck, Chris Favell. That's all I'll say. Good luck. Good luck. We'll see down there what you're saying. 10 minimum. I've got 10 or 11, including Academy. I think the club will look at probably a new goalkeeper overall, but they're not going to go out and sign a first team level one now. If we do sign one, it will probably be moving Bayindir on and bringing in a younger understudy who's actually capable of stepping in. I think Bayindir is just not a I don't know. I just don't think Bayindir will stay. I think he'll want to play football elsewhere. Either way, it's going to be a busy AS summer. I don't think will we move 15 on? I doubt it. We'll find out. But look, you know what day it is. It's Friday. So it's map day. To wrap up the week, as always, I'll say one big thank you to everybody. If you can, please do drop a like on the video. It makes a big difference. We're here every single day. It's been a rough season. And trust me, it has been rough doing this as well. But you can't be in a privileged position like this and just show up when the going is good. You can't be a fair weather United channel. If I was a fair weather United channel, I would not be here. I would have disappeared to the beach a long time ago. But let me know where you're watching from. The country and the city, and I'll try and get a few of you added onto the map. We've got... why is it doing double bloody markers now? Don't know, I'll fix that. I'll fix that at some point. Let me see where you're watching. We've got Jonas watching from... Oh, look at that. Ringsted in Denmark. We've got another one in Denmark. Danish fans out in... There's loads of you. Denmark's on here. On you go, sir. We've got Mukethwa watching from Limpopo in South Africa. Limpopo. What do you call a policeman with one leg? Limpopo? Nah, it was an average joke. That was bad. That was a crap dad joke. Should sack me now, really. Let's get one more on here. We do have Withenshaw. Withenshaw's definitely on the map. We've got Mustafa watching from Dushanbe in Tajikistan. Now, I do not think... Dushanbe? I'm not sure we've got many from Tajikistan. You might be the only one, sir. Welcome aboard, Mustafa. All around the world, as always. But look, let's take these bad boys off now. It's still loud outside. That's really weird. My ears got used to the fact that there was an echo going on. Now there's not. Thank you for sticking with me for another week. That was a decent enough result against Sociedad. But it feels like the game could almost... I wouldn't say the game would be dead and buried, but we should be going to Old Trafford with a 1-2 goal lead. Instead, it's a 1-1 game. All to play for on Thursday. I'll be here today with the 5 things from the Sociedad game. Tomorrow with the Arsenal starting 11. And I'll be here on Sunday after the game. All right? Thank you all for tuning in. We do need more watchers from Antarctica. So if somebody's got internet out there, tune in. Send me some photos. All right? Take it easy, everybody. Have a cracking weekend. Enjoy yourself. And it's definitely shorts weather tomorrow. In London, anyway.